Coming up on Worlds Beyond.
I'm Nathaniel and I am the owner of Eerie Tours, which does ghost tours out of the Aradale Asylum. It was built in 1867 as one of 3 asylums that were laid down in a government document quite simply called the 1863 Lunacy Act. That document was written because of the very high levels of what were called lunatics back in the 1800s that were found on the goldfields from a whole range of different issues relating basically to the very hard conditions that were here. It ran for 127 years and went through 4 stages over 127 years. In 1903 it became known as the Aradale Hospital for the Insane, which had remained up until a philosophy change in the 1930s when it became Aradale Mental Hospital, which had remained up until the early 1970s when it became Aradale Psychiatric Hospital, and finally shut down in 1994 with the last patients being taken out in 1995. When it first opened, it consisted of 9 buildings with space for 304 lunatics. By the time it shut down, there were 63 buildings on site with space for over 2,000 patients and staff. Medication, as we know these days, is the first port of call with most mental illnesses, which shut down most of the asylum systems over the world, so we don't really have asylums these days. But by the 1950s, Aradale had already been open for about 80 years. So before then, the sorts of treatments, and I say treatments, that you would see in an asylum are the sorts of things that you would be familiar with from horror movies and TV shows: straitjackets, ECT, lobotomy, experimental drug treatment. All of those happened at Aradale. Over 127 years, we estimate probably about 25,000 people went through Aradale. They seem to have about a 30% death rate, so we think somewhere in the vicinity to 9,000 to 10,000 people died in Aradale, which makes it an excellent site for a ghost tour. Aradale Ghost Tours opened 8 years ago. We attract about 10 to 12,000 people a year. We have 4 different kinds of tours up there. We have a 2-hour ghost tour, which is theatrical in presentation and follows the lines of what most people would be used to with a ghost tour. We also have a 4-hour version of that because it's such an enormous site. 2 hours does not do it justice, either with seeing the whole building or getting a full idea of the history of it. So 4 hours gives us a little bit more time to play and go into depth. Of course, we also have paranormal investigations up there as well. We do a 3-hour version and a 6-hour version for people who just can't get enough. We have our own team of paranormal investigators and our own range of equipment. We're all trained to know how to use it. We know the sites well, and we run those on Fridays and Saturday nights, and they're very popular.